Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakakadash. I'm saying double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopefully elect. Got to have some spiritual conversations earlier this morning with some elders, and we were on the topic of the book of Ecclesiastes, and the elder, said how he, went to the book for comfort because his spirit was very vexed. And indeed, Ecclesiastes being definitely one of my favorite books, definitely love to speak about things that's written inside of it. And the main topic is just, how everything is vanity, as King Solomon said, and he basically concluded that everything is just, it's all vain, and it is the truth. It is the truth. And he actually stated that, he stated the truth that we probably all do, and I do myself sometimes. I actually do envy the foolish and the unlearned and the unwise at times, because it seems as if they're free. Because the reason why people want to stay asleep or bask in ignorance is because if they actually knew the truth and actually reality and things for what they are, then they too would be in sorrow, and they too would be upset, or they too would also be vexed, as King Solomon says here in Ecclesiastes 1 and 17. And I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this is also vexation of spirit, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. So the more you know, the less happier you are, because you can see things for what they are. So you look at the fools, and they're just living in the moment at all times, all day, every day. They're not performing an inquisition on matters. They're not digging out the secrets of understanding the parables or seeing things for what they are. To them, they find comfort in just being ignorant. And that allows them to just go on with their life and just enjoy what they have, and not consider the latter end, and not consider the future or what reality is. And they'll just deal with all the problems when it comes, later down the line. And sometimes I look at them and I say, man, they look like they're free, right? But I examine what the future entails and what the future holds for us. And then you realize, no, this is it. The truth is it. So I'm going to read also what he said in the second chapter, verse 8. He said, I gathered, I'll just start at 9. He says, so I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. And whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them. I withheld not my heart from any joy, for my heart rejoiceth in all my labor, and this was my portion of all my labor. Then I looked on all the works that my hands have wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. Because he even said that when he looked at the fool and the unwise, he said, if we have the same fate, which is to eventually go to the grave, what did my wisdom really benefit me? Was I even more better than them? Am I even better than the beasts? Because we share the same fate as them as well. So he did everything he could. He searched out the meaning of everything. And he did all that his heart could do in his power and the substance that he had. And in the end, he looked back and he said, this is all vanity. Because for one, I can't take none of this with me. And two, I did all this work to get here. Who's to say that the next man after me is going to be wicked and just bring to ruin everything that I've worked hard for? Which is actually what happened, because his son went off And that's another thing that's vanity, is to know that just because you have children don't necessarily mean they're righteous. Don't necessarily mean they're going to be able to elect. You have plenty of scriptures and prophets who had children and they were ungodly. That's vanity as well, you know? So then, but this is what he said. Verse 12, and I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For what can a man do that cometh after the king? Even that which is already done. Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as far as light excelleth darkness. So he said, even though I can look at all these things and we're going to meet the same fate, he said what? He said, then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as far as light excelleth darkness. So at the end of the day, wisdom still excels folly. Wisdom still excels, darkness. And I'll jump down to 26. He says, for Yahweh giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before Yahweh. This also is vanity and vexation of the spirit. So the things good before Yahweh that he give a man is what? Wisdom, knowledge, and joy. And then I look, just as King Solomon did, you look at the foolish, you look at those who look at you as a fool and say, hey man, you wasting your life, you wasting your time. You need to just get out here and live and not worry about all this other stuff. And they say that without, in their conversations, not those direct words. And you start to reflect and you'll be like, am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my life? You know what I mean? But then I remember what the future holds and the evils that's set before us. And then just one of the scriptures, then you realize wisdom excelleth folly, just the darkness, light excelleth darkness. Because you know what's ahead of us, right? What's ahead of us are evil times. And the true riches that's going to be stored up is this belief. It's this treasure that you have. Because when certain things happen, certain scares, or when things start to get a little rocky out here, people look at what they have. And they look at how much money they have in the bank. They make sure that they look at their substance, that they have a running car. Let's just say if there's a gas shortage, they're looking at, okay, how much gas I have, looking at how much money they have. If they was able to fill their tank, they feel secure. They may have 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles. They're looking at those tangible things and they're thinking and they're shaky. They're like, this has to secure me, because they're really not prepared for the evil times. What we look at is we look at the truth. We say, okay, I have faith. And that's truly the riches right there. I have faith. I have my alms, Lord willing, that are before the Lord. All these things that you build up in your spiritual bank account so that you may pull from it, in a time of trouble. You pray that you hoping that the Lord sees all your good works in that day, that he consider you in the times of evil. So you see how right now we may look like fools, but really when the times of trouble at hand, we're the ones that's going to be protected. And that's why King Solomon came to that conclusion as well. He said, at the end of the day, if all is vanity, why even have wisdom? Why be wise? Why not just live like a fool? Then he considered. He said, no, wisdom exceedeth folly. It's better to have wisdom and to be in this truth. And we're going to see that really soon. Really soon. What are we, mid 2024? The election is only in a few months. And by the end of the year, the world can look completely different. Completely different. And you're going to be grateful to know that you had this truth. Luke 21, verse 34, Yahushua says, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. What does that word surfeiting mean? In the Greek, krapale. It says the giddiness and headache caused by drinking wine to excess, meaning you're just indulging in all the pleasures of life because you're saying we're going to live like there is no tomorrow. We're going to party every night like there's no tomorrow. We're going to live in the moment, which there are times where you do live in the moment, but you live in the moment every and all day. You're not considering the latter end. And the Lord said that is going to be a snare upon them that face the earth, because when that time comes, all they're going to have, these people are going to realize that they really have nothing. Whereas you have this faith, you have the truth. That faith is what's going to save you. Though everything really is vanity and vexation of spirit, to say, let's just live it up and everything don't mean nothing. As the scripture says, I wish they would consider the latter end, because that's exactly what I do. I just say, no, I know what's coming. I know what's coming down the line, and I know that this is not for nothing. This is going to get us to the kingdom where everything is going to matter. Right now, nothing really matters in this world. Nothing really matters, right? But in the kingdom, everything is going to matter. Everything's going to be right and with purpose. So you're building up those treasures now because you know it's around the corner. That's, if you believe. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is his treasure. And you're going to see that. You're going to see that. All right. People are walking around happy right now because the dollar is still up. Because they can still go to the grocery store and they know that there's going to be food there. Because they can still go to the gas station and know that there's going to be gas there. So they're banking on things to just continue as they are and basically live the life of an unlearned, ignorant individual. Not as an insult, but just mean like you just not knowing, you just living. You don't care about truth. You don't care about what's really going on. You don't want to look too deep into certain things. You don't want to understand reality or understand anything. You just want to just live. But we know what's to come. We know what the future holds. So how do we operate? Well, just as scripture tells us how to operate. We basically use the world. We don't abuse it. We put our hands to the plow. We do our work. We do what we have to. We indulge in a little folly every now and then, but we're not unwise, because as it says, redeeming the time and knowing and being not ignorant, but knowing what the will of the Lord is. We go about our business. We do what we do, ready to drop everything when we see it coming, ready to let go of this, let go of that when we see the Lord's coming. 2nd Ezra 16, basically a pilgrim. Verse 40, O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. And he that occupieth merchandise as he that had no profit by it. And he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. And he that soweth as if he should not reap. And so also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that shall not, that they should get no children. And they that marry not as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain. So the Lord is telling us how to live like a pilgrim. You have no place to call home. You're just moving and you follow in the spirit. You may sow, but in your mind, I may not even be able to see when it's flourish. I may not actually be able to reap. I marry, but we may not see no children because the times of evil are at hand. We building, but we may not even dwell therein because of what's to come. We moving and we operating in wisdom, ready to drop everything right in the time of trouble. Whereas the fools latch on to all of their investments to latch on to all of their purchases. They latch on because they believe nothing's going to happen. So you see, at the end of the day, as King Solomon said, wisdom far exceedeth folly. And this is why, because we are in those times. It's going to benefit us because we know what the future holds. We know what it comes, what's going to come. And we know that this is what's going to be valuable in that day. I'll read it again. Ecclesiastes 2, verse 13. Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as far as light excelleth darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceive that one event happened to them all. Right? The wise man's eyes are in his head. That means you're looking, you're observing, you're spiritually watching. Whereas the fool, he walked in darkness. He just, whatever today holds, that's it. He just led by the pleasures. He's led by his ride or whatever. He just doing whatever he want. He's not holding himself back, restraining himself from anything. So he's going to get tattooed all over the place. He's going to sleep with this woman even though she's married because the opportunity arose, not considering the long-term effects. He's going to smoke because it feels good to him. He's going to drink till he pass out. Tomorrow he's going to do it again, having no idea, no direction, just led by the flesh. Whereas the wise man, which we are, Lord's will, we move and operate wisely, understanding the latter end, as the scripture says. So that's why the scripture says not to fret the evildoers, because they have success now. They may be doing well. They may seem like they living and you not, and you missing on opportunities and all this other stuff. But it said don't worry, because you know what's coming down the pipeline. You know what it is. And you know that you're going to be secure while they won't be. You're going to get that reward for believing in the scriptures, man. The Lord he's going to reward them for who believe. Because that's how simple it is. It's simply believing what the Lord going to say. And the Lord going to reward you because you believe what he going to say. It's that simple. But you foresee it's hard for some to do that. They just can't. Because their desires come first. That's why the parable says what? What does this proverb in Israel say? The days are forlorn, they're afar off, because they saying, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to hear it. Now, if we taught peace, if the Lord prophesied peace and prosperity and joyfulness, then everybody would believe it. Everybody believed that this is the time. We're going to see it. This is the lifetime. But the Lord prophesied evils and destruction and trouble sometimes. Then it ain't in our time. It ain't happening now. We ain't going to see it. Because that ain't what the desire of the flesh wants. See? That is Isaiah 65. Yeah. Verse 13. Therefore thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. In that day, I'm telling you, in that day, when people go to the grocery store and they see that there's no food, or there's no water, and everybody's going to be panicking throughout the streets, bone rushing Dollar Generals, the Save-A-Lots, the other known stores out there that's just nobody never shopped to, just to scrap those bottles of water, that food that ain't even real food. You're going to see just how much of a panic they're in, because they don't have any faith or true riches, which are the spiritual riches. They only know what they have in the flesh, tangible. Whereas we're going to have the truth and the faith in the eyes of the Lord. And he said, we're going to be okay. We're going to eat and we're going to drink. In some way, he's going to make it to where we eat and we can drink in our households. So you see, you're not wasting your time. You're not wasting your life. If anything, you're investing. This is the smartest investment you'll ever make, because you're investing in your future self. Because now is the time where we're going to see the Lord of our coming. Now is the time where we're at the end. You couldn't make a better investment than to be in this truth now. Okay? With that, shalom.